AI also promises, and I think it brings more efficiency. So you need to connect the robot to the cloud because you need computing power, right? And at the same time, the concept of automating different human activities led the robots to go out of the cage, literally, right? So you have two new problems. You have robots connected to the cloud and robots among humans. So our slogan is the human in the loop. Robotic Crew, the human in the loop.
Ricky, coffee, tea, or something else? What fuels your mornings?
Well, I'm Argentinian, so neither of those. We drink mate, which is like tea, but without the bag. And yeah, it's a acquired taste.
Yeah? Is it super strong?
There are many, many, many blends of mate, like coffee, and you can find really strong or really sweet or bitter.
Yeah.
It's a plant, and there are
Yeah.
many, many different plants.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I know some people, a client of
I
mine
have
that
I
drink
have
it.
one here. We have mate all the time. We drink it like this,
Oh, nice. Cool.
like it's like the tea there.
Yeah, they were showing me it. They're like, "Hey, it's here. Go and have some if you want." And I was like, "Whoa, I've never done. I've only had like the cans, the yerba mate cans." I was like, "I'm not gonna go into the whole blends and stuff like that." So
Surprisingly, I have had many calls with roboticists around the US that not only know what mate is, but they drink mate almost every day. I just
interesting.
had a call with a high level, a C level person from a software robotic software company, and she just showed me I'm drinking mate, and she's American, right?
Interesting. Okay. So you've just kind of pushed me to it. I'm going to have to try it. I'm going to my client this afternoon, so I'm going to just whip some up while I'm there because they're the ones that
Okay.
are drinking it. Um,
The,
w- when you were a kid, what did you think you'd grow up to be?
Well, my father and mother are. My father has passed away recently, but my mother is still alive. Both are or were biochemists, so it wasn't very difficult for me. I knew I was going to work in a lab, and I was going to be related to science.
Yeah.
At the end of high school, I did all the tests that you usually do to see what's there out for you, and it was either science or architecture or software. Eventually, I became a biochemist. I had relatively a lot of success in my profession. Um, but then I think that the three different things I could choose from, where software is more close to what I'm doing now, is creation. I like to create things. I like to experiment and create things.
Interesting. What's one technology that you can't live without?
I would like to say my Toyota, my truck. It's technology and I love
Yeah,
it,
it's true.
but I wouldn't be able to live without my phone. And I think
Yeah,
that's common sense, right? Everything
pretty
happens in the phone.
universal. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I
And
love
if you,
my Toyota.
that's a great one. So universal. I mean, both of them really, transportation and connectivity, really. Um,
Actually, I feel happy jumping into my Toyota and just driving. My
oh,
kids, I have small kids, and I need to take them to soccer or whatever school, and that's me. Just I want to do it. I want to jump in my Toyota anytime.
love that. If you could
But I'm
fast forward,
also on my phone all the time, right?
yeah, yeah, it's true. I guess all of us are, right, these days. If you could fast forward 10 years and see one impact that your work's made on the world, what would you want that to be?
Personally, I would like to people to remember me as a good person. That's my personal, let's say, aim. And in terms of business, I know I'm building a big company that will help a lot of pioneers to change their business vertical for good. I know, and when you are getting some momentum, which is not hype, is a different thing, and it's a
Yeah.
feeling. It's like when someone asks you, "How does it feel to have a children, a kid, a son?" You can explain all you want, but until you are a father or a mother, until that you don't know what it's like. And when you have a startup and you feel this momentum, I don't know, I cannot explain how it is, but it's exactly what I'm feeling for the last 6 months. And that happened to me 15 years ago, and I get to build one of the biggest laboratories in Argentina, and it's happening again. And you
Love
cannot
that.
fake that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to talk all about that. Welcome
Yeah.
to Machine. Yeah. Welcome to Machine Minds, everyone. I'm your host, Greg Tarusian, founder of Samson Rose, your robotics talent search partner. And on today's episode, I'm joined by Richard Petrazzini, CEO and co-founder of Robotic Crew. Thanks for being on the show today, Richard. Let's jump into it.
Thanks to you, Greg, for inviting me.
My pleasure. So you touched a little bit on this, but you've had this unusually diverse background and path. It involves academic, from mathematics, physics, biochemistry, masters in molecular biology, MBA, all of the good stuff. How did those disciplines shape your perspective as a robotics founder today?
In many ways, of course, business is important. Knowing how to do business, how to build a company, how to build each specific part of a company, how to be a good leader, and try not to become a boss. Very difficult for me. But mostly through the almost 15 years that I have been a director of a pathology lab where you do the blood testing and some other testings, and having a family. My father was an old father, so I get to learn how biochemistry or testing was done 50, 60, 70 years ago. And my
Wow.
grandfather was one of the first biochemists in Argentina. So I kind of saw how you did tests 100 years ago, because my grandfather got his degree in 1925, so it's 100 years from now exactly. And that's my grandfather. I met him when I was
Wow.
until I was 10.
Yeah.
And I saw all the evolution of manual testing, where you could have a rabbit that you open and you put some molecules, and you see how the rabbit reacts. Then you know the owner of that sample is pregnant. So from that
Wow.
to a laboratory that I have that did 10,000 tests a day, and it was fully, absolutely 100% automated. So I saw all that, and I saw all the decisions that the end user, as a lab director, had to do uh, in a vertical that was automated 40 years ago.
Mm.
Now I go to meetings where they ask questions, because some other verticals are getting automated, or they're robots involved, and they are asking questions that healthcare in vitro diagnostics have already answered 25 years ago, and I was there.
Really?
So this is gold to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not realize that's how they did the testing previously, by cutting open rabbits and
Oh, my father used to have
crazy.
frogs
Really?
and blood from sheep. That was
Wow.
all the reagents
Yeah.
for biological testing. What I'm trying to say is that probably manufacturing and in vitro diagnostics where probably I need to check this further in research because I would like to write about this. But probably these two verticals have been the first to be fully automated in the world. I think, automotive because of the, the numbers, it's massive. And so you can invest in automation from many years ago. And the same happens with healthcare, you know.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky. And two things there. Factories could be automated because they were isolated from the cloud and isolated from the physical interaction with people. And they were big and heavy, so you want the people to be out there to be safe. And in vitro diagnostics, you're talking about microliters and very small things. So it's also easy to automate in a box, right? Yeah,
Interesting.
food for thought.
Yeah, for sure. Food for thought and very unique perspective to have, bring it into robotics. So let's talk about Robotic Crew for listeners who may not know who you guys are yet. What problem are you solving, and who do you actually serve?
I come from, let's say, our mother company is software, nearshore software development company, or a software factory. You can call it like that. And many years ago, like four now, with my partners, we decided that the company was running and there was no need for so many partners taking care of that. So I volunteered, and I'm also kind of. It's good. It's good. I'm good building, but then when I have to administrate, it's boring to me. So I said I'll take this one, and I go and research for some new things. So I was at the South of the Southwest, and I saw some robots there. A French robot, and I decided that there was something interesting there, and I started to just research about robotics. I had like 100, maybe, yeah, probably 100 calls with people from different parts of the world and different areas of robotics. And I discovered that there is a good need, big need, a good market into deploy units that need support, and eventually in the coming years staffing for software roboticists. And basically that's what we are solving. And I took like 2 years to design the company, and now a year from starting offering service, we are plus 60 people and growing each week with a lot of clients. We have clients, 10K employees, clients, and 10 to 50 also.
Yeah. So you're servicing all the market.
Startups. Yeah, because they're all startups. They are pioneers, and this is something I find very interesting. They are walking in uncharted territory. You can
Yeah.
be entrepreneur opening a pizza shop, right?
Yeah.
But when you're changing the way to, I don't know, to cook, how to cook, or how to bring stuff from one place to another autonomously, then it's not a
It's all
pizza
new.
shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I mean, obviously that's kind of like the high level founding story there, but when we've met multiple times at events and
Mhm.
spoken in length about what you guys do, how you guys help the companies in the US. And I speak to a lot of startups just by nature of my work, a lot of founders, and there's always that bottleneck when you're scaling, right? Like,
Mhm.
do we
Mhm.
take on all of this support? Do we do we have field employees? How are we training people on site at these customers?
Hmm.
basically you want your product to have very, very high uptime, very reliable, and when there's an issue, how you're going to solve it with your customer. And
Hmm.
when you were giving me the information about, nearshoring in like IT and nearshoring in software and stuff like that, how it's already such a large industry and it's
Amazing.
established.
Hmm.
Yeah. And there was nothing that really existed on a nearshoring basis for hardware, for robots. And it was like, oh, big light bulb went
I,
off. And I'm like, this makes
I
a lot
have
of
a
sense.
theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory on how, why, but please continue.
No. I mean, for me, it was like a light bulb moment where I thought, this makes a ton of sense. How can it doesn't matter what the area is, right? IT support, sales, research, hardware
Well, first,
support.
you
Yeah.
need to know that I was researching for 2 years, and for 2 years, this was my job to wake up and research robotics to find out what to do with robotics, right? From morning to night. And I was getting paid for that. My partner said, like I was playing. I wasn't playing. I was really researching. And obviously, there are simple facts to get to this, but those simple facts are hidden, right? So the first thing is AI is coping everybody's minds, and that gets a lot of people misled from robotics. That's one thing. The other thing is AI also promises, and I think it brings more efficiency to any process. So integrators for robotics in the industrial verticals were very, very comfortable with a robot within a cage where nobody could enter while the robot was working. And please don't connect internet to this because cyber attacks and that. But
Yeah.
then when AI arrives, then stakeholder says, I want the efficiency, I want AI, so you need to connect the robot to the cloud because you need computing power, right? So then you need to connect these robots to the cloud. And at the same time, the concept of automating different human activities led the robots to go out of the cage, literally, right? So you have two new problems. You have robots connected to the cloud and robots among humans.
Mm.
So that is where it makes sense to have a human in the loop. So our slogan is the human in the loop. Robotic Crew, the human in the loop. And it doesn't really matter how many we're platform agnostic, and it doesn't really matter how many robots a platform can handle with one person. You still need one person. We're talking about millions of robots, so the number of people will be always relevant for at least one company like us, right? And I know there will be other companies soon. So I think that makes sense. And when you go and talk to these roboticists, they have the first deployment for the first client, they have the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and then they lose client number one. And they say, what are we doing? We cannot provide a service. We are a
Yeah.
product developers, right? So we need someone to take care of support. So this is where it makes sense to have a partner that is the human in the loop that provides a service, so you can actually focus your developers into improving the product instead of being paying attention to a customer that also needs to be very well attended, right? Very well served. I think that's the proper way to say it in English. So there's that, and there's one more other thing. Uh, I'm belling everything today. One other thing is robotics in the US, and that's our market, our target market. It's mostly happening during daylight. Of course, there are factories that run 24/7, and of course, but I would say a high percentage. I wouldn't dare to say how much, but how many, but a very big percentage of the operations in robotics are done daylight. So that gives a lot of sense to be in Latin America instead of being in India or Eastern Europe, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Software is asynchronical, but robotics isn't.
Yeah.
Even when you are talking about software for robotics.
Yeah.
And one other thing that gives me a lot of hope for Robotic Crew is that I've heard top guys from robotics, uh, really intelligent people leading great companies that are very successful, say the next 10 years are not about really about hardware, are about software. Because getting to the cloud and getting among humans means you need to interact with a lot of other softwares. So software integration, software development related to robotics is 80% probably of what robotics will evolve. So
Yeah.
evolution of robotics is more software than hardware. The hardware is already there from many years ago.
Interesting. Let's talk about your team building and talent. The company is obviously called Robotic Crew. I can imagine where the name came from. This is the crew for robots. Uh, no,
The name came from a branding process that took almost 3 4 months. We
really.
had we do have our Sebastian is our chief branding officer. He was the first person to work with me in the company because he said, if I'm going to burn, the first thing you do when you start a startup, if you need to communicate, otherwise you won't get the attention you need to build a company.
Right.
So I brought in this guy that I know for 25 years, and we did a lot of things, and we did the whole process to build the brand Robotic Crew, and we had to do a voting for many. We had like 4 or 5 different names, and we did a voting. Do you call it like that when you vote for
Yes. Yeah.
something
Yeah. Yep.
democratically? And Robotic Crew was the winner.
Nice. I love the name. I love the name. And you talk about hiring Robotears and structured
Mhm,
levels of
mhm,
robotics operations, right? Support
mhm,
L1,
mhm.
L2, L3. What skills and qualities do you look for when building those teams out?
Well, the first thing I like about being a pioneer or a scientist or a creator is that you get to name things. I didn't
More
invent.
branding.
I didn't come up with the term roboteer. That's from a partner that has fleet management software, and they already called the guys monitoring robots and deploy units. They already called them roboteers. I would say roboteer is a step down from tier one. A roboteer is a person that is trained in a specific fleet management software. It could be any because we are platform agnostic, and there's no real education or skills uh, further than understanding what you're doing when teleoperating or when monitoring or when doing any ticketing process in a fleet. So that's a roboteer. I would say that's an entry level for someone that is working in robotics. A tier one is someone that is more technical. We use and we like to hire um, students of engineering, different engineerings, or even already with a degree that are starting. Those could be a tier one. Um Tier two would be someone that is 10 years of experience in support and is um, also an engineer or probably someone that is related to technology. And tier three is a developer. Python, C++, Rust, whatever you name it, computer vision, machine learning. That's tier 3. We have a customer client, they have tier 5. So we can scale, we do tier 1 for them. We scale to tier 2, that's on them. They can scale to tier 3, which is development. Tier 4, I don't recall what tier 4 is, but I recall that tier 5 is design. So an incident can even influence the design of the product. I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Interesting. And can you explain your continuous journey philosophy for nurturing and developing your talent?
Well, as being CEO of a software company for a decade, you know that people needs to have a path, uh, in educational path or experience path within the company. So we work a lot from our with our manager of people care and human resources. We do all the time. We get our guys to do different certifications, and now we are turning JavaScript and DevOps and SRE guys into Robotears by teaching them different tools that they are going to need in this new future that is
Very
coming,
cool.
right? Yeah. I don't know if that is that what you're pointing to, or
Yeah. I mean, it's how they're continuously upskilling, how they can, progress within their career journey as well. And you're nurturing the talent. Like you're mentioning the
yes, yes.
JavaScript. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. We have very young people working with us, and there are a couple of old guys like me.
Mhm.
Our VP of engineering is a 20-year experienced ex IBM developer, architect, CTO, how you want
Yeah.
to put the title. Our talent acquisition guy, talent acquisition manager, has worked for American companies doing talent acquisition, doing your work basically.
Yeah.
So for with Americans for Americans, so that's a plus in our company. That's Jonathan, and we have a human resources manager that has 20 years of experience doing human resources management.
Nice.
Our CFO, which is my partner, is 60 plus. So he has gone through many companies. He knows when to say no to me. That's important. And yeah, the rest of the team is young people that is eager to work with robotics. And we're not just robotics fans. We are very driven by the pioneering style and the pioneering adventure.
Nice. Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So, how do you help US robotics companies integrate, but then also be successful with nearshore teams? There's obviously like
Mhm.
their workflows, their culture, your SLAs, response time, things like that. For anyone listening that is like, this sounds like a solve or a solution. I'm interested, but I'm hesitant because like I've never done it before. Like, how do you help them be successful?
When you talk about nearshoring, with someone that is a CTO from a software company, they have been doing that for 20 years, so no problem. They know everything. They just would like to ask you a few questions to know who they are talking to, and if they need to do business, it will be done, right? Because we all also know how to deliver. But if you're talking to a roboticist, a CTO from a robotic company that has no previous experience in software, and sometimes there is people from software in robotic companies, that's easier for us. But most of the time, we need to teach them that there is this possibility, right? And yeah, it takes a little bit of talking and visiting and face-to-face meetings and shaking hands and building trust. But eventually, if you think a little bit, US will run out of engineers for roboticists in the coming years. That's coming, right?
Yeah.
So nearshoring will be the solution, and as I said, Operation Daylight is key for Latin America. And I would say that the key is to understand that we are working for pioneers, whether they have $27 million that they get from the A series or B series, or a 10K employees company that has a new division of robotics that has endless investments, or a guy in a laboratory that is building his, I don't know, his robot to do a specific task. All of them have the same problems and are pioneers. So
Yeah.
we start a contract and we don't know how is it going to end. We start offering staffing for development, and then we end up doing that and also support. We start doing support and we keep then doing development, because it's not like opening a pizza shop. It's like opening a pizza shop, but then the customers want pasta. So you need to change, you need to adapt, and we are very very easy to work with. I would say that's key. Very easy to work with. Understand the pioneers' adventure. Like that. You need to like that. Otherwise, you will be always in a uncomfortable place, and we are comfortable in the uncomfortable place of being a pioneer, if you allow me to say that. So sometimes we start asking questions, and they don't know what tier one looks like for them, or they haven't yet get to the bridge of support, or they don't have the pain yet, but they know that they will. So what we do is we work with them, trying to help them understand what will they need when they are going to have to provide support. Sometimes we even decide some things because of our experience for them. And sometimes we just merge with their existing teams, and we follow their procedures and
Yeah.
playbooks, because they already did that and they need to augment staff augmentation, or they need to grow, or they need to outsource what they are already doing. So we just adapt. We have done it everything for all of our clients remotely. It can be done remotely. Some big companies that I cannot mention because of the NDAs, and I'm talking about the big companies of Silicon Valley. They sometimes they ask to our engineers to come and visit and stay for a week or 10 days
Hmm.
to get more related to the hardware, or to the team. But that's unusual. That's mainly for big companies.
Yeah.
Startuppers are quite comfortable saving money. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And
and
on that
if
saving money,
yeah,
yeah,
go go
go on.
go.
I was
No,
just
no,
going to
I
say
was.
that, yeah, you've highlighted up to 40% cost savings for clients. So what do they
Yes.
gain? Like, what do companies gain, and what do they need to manage carefully when they're choosing the team?
There is a book called The Lean Startup.
Yep.
Um, we kind of live, but that idea by that idea. The startup has two bullets and needs to do target with both of them. So we try and help them to accomplish that. And sometimes cost saving means a little more runway, and that little more runway can lead to a marvelous future, or not, right? So anything you can do to help them have more runway is a good thing. But that's not the main value. The main value, I think, is we have sorry, 400 years old universities in Latin America. We have great talent, I don't need to explain to anyone what Latin American talent is capable of. There are plenty of examples out there. I think that's one of the values. The other value is daylight operation, and the other value is in a couple of years availability.
Yeah.
So cost is real, is a real benefit, but I wouldn't say it's my point of contact with client. I would say the point of contact with the client is they finding out that there is a company that can help them in many ways.
Mm.
Because some other companies just need to do a project of 4 months project, and they need to on and off guys from 4 months. And I have them in my bench, or I have them in other projects that are ending, and they are related to SLAM or simulation or to ROS, and I have them here, right?
Yeah.
And they are available. I think availability is the real thing.
I think big part of what you guys are doing is, which you're doing a great job of, just FYI, with these conferences, and obviously you're attending, you're speaking, you're networking. It's educating the space on the offering, right? Because I think a lot of people don't know what they don't know in this case. And you think the traditional way of, if we've got these things deployed, we need to have our own support team here. We need to hire that. We need to train them. We need to deploy them, instead of there's partners that we can tap to do this in a cost-effective way, but also a professional, responsive way that's going to help our clients and help us as a business. And sometimes that can be daunting. Like you said, if you speak to a CTO that's done this forever with nearshoring, offshoring, whatever, if you're a founder of a robotics company and it's your first run at this, you probably never thought about it or didn't realize it existed. So yeah,
Or you
that's
just don't trust, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, trust's a big thing as well. I think that's a big part in robotics in general. You know, it's
Mhm.
the robotics companies trying to implement their technology in other their customers' sites, and they're like, they don't trust the deployment. So hey, give us a little bit, give us a test,
The
and then
thing is, some companies even start to partner with companies like us to provide support late.
yeah,
And they do that late because they think that in this way they are going to lose value information to improve the product.
yeah,
So the first thing we learned with when we started offering support and doing support is uptime. You have to be there. So we don't charge for it, for how many engineers we have working for you. We charge for the hour. Sometimes for a shift of 8 hours a day, from Monday to Monday, you need 15 people because people get sick, they get married, they travel, they whatever, right?
right,
So so they do late. So uptime is one thing that they need, and the other thing they need is be very careful with information,
mm,
not only with the security of the information, but with not losing how an incident occurred, or how many times this incident happens, of if there is a special deploy unit that has special problems that any other unit is not having. There's something in there that is very useful for the owner of the product, right? For the developer. So we take a special care of not losing that information. We do follow the playbooks. We even suggest to the customer improvements. Um, and that works both ways, because if I have more incidents, then I need more people for the same
of course,
time. So I need them to be not very not very bad robots. I need them to be
Yeah,
good robots. So it's a positive loop, right?
that's true. That's true.
So uptime and information, I would say, are both.
They're key.
Uh,
Yeah,
the- yeah.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. And trying to feed that back, especially from the information, like you're saying, if it's something that is going to stop them from improving the product, like how do you get that knowledge flow to them and share all of the feedback so they can improve on it themselves. Before we get to wrap up, I'm curious about industry trends and you mentioned some client stories. So let's talk about trends for a second, because robotics adoption, it's obviously accelerating across various industries: logistics,
Mhm,
warehousing,
mhm.
healthcare. Where are you seeing the most demand for your operations support today?
There are two different answers to this. One is what I see as a market where, of course, warehouse and industry and hospitality are leading the way. But then when I go to see my Salesforce opportunities, I have everything. I have from C-tech companies that
Hmm.
are building underwater robots to kitchens, warehousing, healthcare, even healthcare for surgeries.
Wow.
Um, you name it. We have a very wide spread and a lot of variety in customers. I explain to my people, and this is a difficult one. I explain them that they are working with a customer that may fail and may disappear. We've seen it many times in the last 2 years, right? With big
Right.
companies and very, very well-founded companies. Uh, but for each company that goes down, there are two or three new that goes, unbuilt. They go out of stealth. So yeah, that happens, and it's ironic, but when a company closes, if you have done good relationships, which I like because I like to meet people and I'm a people, if you can say it that way.
Yes.
So each company that closes, you know three or four people that will probably found four more companies, so you have four more opportunities, right? Four more clients.
Right.
So that has happened in the past and will keep on happening. But I need to prepare my guys sometimes to know that their project where they are working independently or unrelated to what the effort is. Sometimes company just didn't get something right from the
Yeah.
market, or some market change, or some financial disruption, or economy change, and companies go down. I just
The
saw it
nature of it.
last
Yeah.
week. Last week we lost a great company in the. I'm not going to mention them, but they are big from Texas, and they just went off, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad, isn't it? Um, I'm curious. I don't know if you can share. We've only got like a few minutes
I,
left, but
I shared everything I can.
you shared everything you can. Okay, cool. Let's leave that there then. I know you guys
I
have like
shared it.
success
Yeah.
stories. You've got like clients in Europe that you've supported for a long time, and you're always on the road visiting companies, going to new ones. Are there any like success stories where you can say you guys, hey, you made a huge difference in uptime, efficiency,
For
time?
them, for the client. Yeah, I must say that I personally, with some part of my team, I travel a lot because I'm based in Argentina, whether the company is legally established in the US, but I live and I have my family in Argentina, and that gives me a special, possibility to bring
Yeah,
this company on. But we invest a lot of money in being in the US, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. Attend to all these places and also to Europe, and that's a lot of work and energy and a lot of money. That's That's something that is part of the success, but it's also a big investment, a big gamble, if you want.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the only success case I can talk about because of NDA is Remy Robotics. Remy Robotics is undergoing now a phase of scaling. I think they're going to scale pretty big. And we had them when we had 2 or 3 kitchens. This is an automated kitchen with robots and universal robots in the middle with a lot of IoT for fridges and ovens.
Hmm.
And you ask for the food from any platform, and you get let's say not junk food, but chef designed food very quickly
Wow.
and cheaper because there is no people involved. And they were doing support with the development team, and we improved more than 40, more than 50% the time of response and the time of solving, right? But they call it, each client used a different name for that.
Yeah.
I think this client uses time of engagement, time of acknowledge, and time of resolve. We
Nice.
improved that more than 40%, and actually it was like 90%. But we wouldn't use that numbers because it looked like a lot, but it's not a big deal. It's like the guys from development, they would just solve the problem, but they wouldn't follow any protocol, so they wouldn't use any ticketing system. So the tickets were open for ages. And when you are deploying a lot of units, you need your development guys doing development, and you need a proper support solution working because you need statistics, you need information, you need to know which unit fails when, how many times, and development guys are a little more anarchists than that.
Yeah. Yeah. True. That's
This
really
is this is how the numbers are so big, right?
yeah.
It's not because they weren't solving the problem. It's because they were not taking proper note of that.
Right. Interesting. So there's part of like process improvement there and tracking that you guys definitely need to help with.
But that's key. If you don't have a good traceability of your problems, then you are not you don't know as a customer success manager, for example, wouldn't know how he's doing with his clients, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. You got to
Support
track it.
is like customer success of robotics in some way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I really appreciate this conversation and all of your insight. Thank you for being
It's
on.
all the pleasure is all mine. You know
Yeah,
this.
I know, I know. We've been talking about this for a while, so I'm glad I could finally get you on. I'm looking forward to seeing you next month as well at Robo Business. I'll be there to support the panel that you're on. How can
Okay, that's
listeners
good.
learn more about you guys and follow you and maybe engage with Robotic Crew if they have a need?
Well, we have a lot of presence in LinkedIn. You can follow Richard Petrazzini, which is my name, and you can reach me there. There are a lot of robotic crewers behind my LinkedIn and my emails. I'm not there. I hire my own people to be very responsive. So if you just send a direct message in LinkedIn to me or to the profile in the company, it'll be easy to connect with us.
Awesome. Well, Richard, thank you so much again. Appreciate it. And I'll see you soon.
Thanks to you, my friend. This is a pleasure, and I hope I'm not the worst interviewed here in your podcast.
Not at all. Thanks, Rich.